responders. It's Monday evening, you're in the kitchen enjoying your evening supper with your husband and children when you hear it. It's the loud sound of not one beat, but two, followed by the loud tone of your husband's pager. Then the dispatcher begins speaking of the need of assistance by Lena Volunteer Fire Department in a house fire. You hear the words fully engulfed, and instantly your husband stands from his seat without even finishing his meal. He begins dressing in the proper attire, finding shoes and car keys, and then grabs the pager. You hear your husband say, Lena 42, 10-8, and then he quickly kisses you and the children bye. He rushes out the door and you say a silent prayer for his safety. You pray that this time, like every other time, he makes it home again. What is your husband? He is a volunteer fireman and first responder. My aim of speaking to you today is to persuade you that volunteer firemen and first responders need to be recognized more for the things that they do for their community. The need for more community support for these individuals is soaring higher every day. Volunteer firemen and first responders are usually the first ones on scene of any emergency. These individuals are usually the ones that are the lifeline between life and death in more than just house fires and grass fires. These individuals are usually the first ones on the scene of wrecks and make the decision whether or not an ambulance or the county coroner is needed. Volunteers comprise 71% of firefighters in the United States, and the majority of fire departments in the United States are volunteer fire departments. The total fire departments in the country is 30,165. Of those, 20,857 are all volunteer. How many of you have ever been to a wreck or house fire? There is no description of what the volunteer will encounter when they arrive on the scene of an emergency. We as a community do not know what these firemen have to go through or what he or she has to see when they are on scene. When they are paged to an emergency, unless you know the address of everyone that you know within your county, eventually it will more than likely be someone that you know. It does not matter what is going on in the volunteer's life, whether it be a special occasion, birthday, holiday, or even a wedding. When the need arises, they must go. That is why there is a tremendous need for more support and recognition for these individuals. These individuals invest a lot of time into their community, and this is one of the most demanding volunteer activities today. I believe that the community should hold monthly events for the volunteer fire departments in their community. This can be done anywhere within the community to show these volunteers how much they are appreciated and recognize them for their efforts and time as a volunteer. These events would also give everyone within that particular county the opportunity to meet these individuals and get to know them firsthand. It is important to realize that if the need arises for you, these individuals would be the ones from your community to arrive first to help. I do not believe that we as a community understand all of the things that these volunteers see and deal with when responding to an emergency. How would you feel if you were in the position and the one involved in the wreck was someone that you have known for a long time? What if that person did not walk away from that wreck? How would you cope with that? Would you walk away thanking the Lord above for all that you have? Would you hold your loved ones a little tighter? I believe that by doing these things for these volunteers and by getting involved within your community, we can show them that their effort and hard work does not go unnoticed. This plan would be beneficial to the county as well as offer support to all of these volunteers. This would show them that the community and county are behind them and support them in their decisions and work. This plan would also be beneficial in showing volunteers that they are cared for and recognize them for their hard work and time spent away from their own families to help someone within the community. This plan would also raise awareness for the volunteer fire department. These events may offer the assurance that is needed for someone to offer a monetary donation to the department as well. These volunteer fire departments are operated by grants, and the volunteers are just what they are called, volunteers. They are not paid or reimbursed for their expenses. This plan would also be beneficial in getting more individuals interested in becoming a member of the volunteer fire department themselves. Volunteer firemen and first responders lay their life on the line for their community and county every time an emergency arises. So I encourage you to start today by arranging an event that would show these volunteers how much they mean to you and your community. Make sure you let them know how much their efforts mean to you, because this is pretty demanding work. We will never know what goes through the minds of volunteer firemen and first responders and how they cope with the things that they see. So let's take a stand today and recognize them for their hard work. We often take for granted the very things that most deserve our gratitude.